yes, we are now getting to the end of our playthrough of Assassin's Creed Origins, A Curse of the Pharaohs DLC, of course with Kate and Alexandra, the SASA gamers, and the whole time we have been featuring Dr. Briana Jackson, and today we have on with us Dr. Hamish Cameron, and coming back from, I think last week or the week before, Daniele Salvoldi. So they will all introduce themselves in a second. But very quick as usual, what is SASA? SASA stands for Save Ancient Studies Alliance. It is our mission to reverse the current downward trend in the study of the ancient world by engaging the public and bringing together students and scholars to share their passion for the study of the ancient world in order to inspire a vast new generation of students. So we do this by having multiple kinds of live streams. We were just talking about doing some more book clubs and stuff. Of course, Archeo Gaming live streams. We have an open access database on our website with over 1,000 websites on it that's searchable. We do research on the downward trend, and many more things that you can find on our website. So how do you find us? You can search Save Ancient Studies Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, LinkedIn, everywhere. Please make sure you follow us. Some protocol for the event: be kind and respectful. Please be active in the chat. We love hearing from you and chatting with you guys. It's been really fun doing these Archeo Gaming streams on Twitch because Twitch chat is way more active than necessarily other platforms, so it's really great. And then, of course, as always, there are spoiler alerts throughout the session. So last but not least, if you enjoy what you see from SASA, please consider becoming a monthly donor. You can also do this directly on Twitch by becoming a supporter on Twitch. Otherwise, it's through PayPal on our website. You can do this for as little as $3 a month, and it really helps us run our programs, pay for all of these things that I was just talking about, the services that we need to provide these things for you guys for free to the public. So as usual, thank you for joining us, and I'll hand it over to Kate and Alex.
All right, so thank you, Lauren, for the introduction. Thank you, everyone who's trickling in the chat slowly. Thank you, Alex, for being here and being ready to mayhem. Thank you, Briana, for being at the commands and showing off our Bayek in the towel. Thank you, Dr. Salvoldi, for coming back. Team Italians and Team Hair Bun, as one does. And thank you to our newer guest, Dr. Hamish Cameron, for joining us for this chiller episode. No final bosses this time. Welcome for being here. And why don't you tell us who you are? What are you doing here? What are your interests? While we go to our first quest of the day.
All right. Well, I'm as I said, I'm Hamish Cameron. I'm a lecturer in classics at Victoria University in Wellington, down in New Zealand. So it's early in the morning, but not too early. I am a Roman historian, and one of the things that I've worked on is the representation of the Romans in Assassin's Creed Origins. I work on a bunch of other gaming stuff and the representation of imperialism and the representation of the Near East in geography and all sorts of things like that. And it's great to be here.
Excellent. We are very happy to have you. So for today's, let's say, amuse-bouche, we're going to do one very Egyptological quest. And the Egyptologists among the panel, oh my God, we have a panel now, will be pleased to see the character that we are going to meet. And then we will leave Thebes and we will go straight to Cyrenaica and we will go aqueduct hunting. Because that is the most Roman quest that we have. I'm sure you all saw that coming. So there's going to be architecture. There's going to be Vitruvius. There's going to be an aqueduct. There's going to be a lot of water. But first, we are meeting this gentleman. And I think Briana is going to have opinions on him.
Set him on fire.
Can I ever
well, we could.
Not yet.
Not yet.
How can I hope to best those beasts?
He's so cute.
Father can command all he wants.
Look at this dude. Dr. Jackson, do you want to tell us who Setna is?
Is his son, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second.
I am tired of trying to make him
his archaeologist's son.
Very true. Very true.
I do not want
so he is one of the 100 kids that he had?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at this textile here.
No, he's wearing some really fancy stuff. So, Setna, whose real name was Khan Wazet, was one of the many children that Ramesses II had.
He's a redhead.
He is a redhead because, as we have established, that's how DNA works. But yes, he has reasons to be a redhead. And he was one of the ones that did not follow a military career, but he became the high priest of Ptah in Memphis. And he was a scholar, and he had an interest in archaeology. We are told that he was interested in restoration and conservation of ancient monuments. And he had an interest in history. Somehow, and I think Dr. Salvoldi will know more about this, his name becomes Setna, and he becomes a magician in later traditions. Daniele, do you have any insights on that?
No, well, not particularly. But later on, we have it's a very interesting sign of how vital is Egyptian culture in the Greco-Roman period, because you have in the Greco-Roman period a lot of things that pop out again, like Imhotep, for example. Imhotep was this sage, doctor, architect, whatever, and we know he lived in the time of Necherichet Djoser, so the beginning of the Old Kingdom. But he becomes super popular in the Greco-Roman period. It's like a god with small statues in bronze, very, very common to find, and it appears on temples from the Roman period in Calabsha, for example. So there are these things that they come out in the Roman period in a new form, in a new shape, maybe with different names. It might also be what Jan Assmann called the mnemohistory. There is some memory of an event that happened sometimes in the Egyptian history, and it's still alive somehow. Transformed, changed, the names are not the same, the events are not exactly accurate. Remember last time I was with you 2 weeks ago, we spoke about how there was a memory of Akhenaten, probably in the time of Flavius Josephus, no? And we have a slaughter of...
And we got our first death. We're talking nice things, and then Bayek is being skewered by giant scorpions. It always happens. Dr. Cameron, be ready for that. We have arson, and we have death by scorpions. So,
I mean, I've played a lot of Assassin's Creed. I know how it goes.
Last time we had more hippos than expected. 2 times, 2 weeks ago we had like a massacre of civilians in the temple. So that's how we roll.
Accidental massacre. That's
accidental massacre. We did not want to, but they kind of ran into our poison several times.
So our sweet young man here just said he wishes he could be a scribe. Too bad we don't have Max here today.
Oh my God!
Angry.
Yes, Dr. Pinarello would scream at this. Scribe, not really a thing. Maybe a scholar. In the meantime, Dr. Salvoldi has disappeared, so maybe we have a magician in our midst. So we have our young man here has daddy issues. His father is a towering, lumbering presence, and he's a great warrior. And he doesn't want to be a warrior; he just wants to be a scholar. Projecting much? Ancient tropes on ancient people, probably. But then again, we live for the drama. We like the soap opera.
Look at that sidewalk. It's so amazing. I'm very happy to see him. He's so adorable. Oh my gosh. He conserved, or I think he did some conservation work on the Serapeum.
Oh yeah.
In Saqqara.
Yeah, he did. He said, is that okay? No, remedy for my English is failing. Sorry, my brain is not found today. Didn't they think that they had found his mummy in the Serapeum?
Yeah,
that's the question I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
But it's not. Probably not. Probably not. The Serapeum, for people who have not been following our long tangents and everything else, is the Temple of Serapis in Memphis, in Saqqara, where they also worship the Apis bull. And there is a whole underground chamber with this giant sarcophagi with the mummified pieces of bulls, sometimes not the whole animal. And
Sometimes
when
a fake animal.
Sometimes a fake animal. Listen, the hustle never stops, right? You need to bury something. Doesn't matter if it's not a bull. It must look like a bull. There was a flourishing market of fake mummies in the late period, as we know. But yeah, so when a human burial was found in the Serapeum, there was talk that was actually Hamwazet, but it seems like it was not. So we do not have a mummy associated with him as of today, but who knows? Maybe they'll find him tomorrow. Who knows? So we don't know where he is, technically.
Has he got a tomb in the Valley of the Queens, or is one of those in the great tomb of all the children of Ramses II?
Mm-hmm. But until we find a mummy with a post-it on it, we won't really know that is him. So that is. I mean, you jest, but that is how we know. We have the identification of royal mummies. Many of them have pieces of bandages with their names written on it by priests of the 20th dynasty when they pull them all out of their tombs and put them away. And so there is the strong possibility that some of them are mismatched. So who knows? Maybe Ramesses was not the redhead that we think he was. Who knows? Hot takes today. Also, scarab scorpions.
Whose box is this?
I mean, whose sarcophagus is that? I don't.
Someone is buried inside the afterlife.
Someone is buried in the underworld. Well, that's that is excellent. Right.
Buried in the underworld, apparently.
You need the dead. Somehow you need the dead in the underworld. While we are going around, let me ask one question to bring both of our guests together. So, what had changed in Roman Egypt in respect to funerary customs and funerary beliefs compared to earlier Egypt, like earlier eras of Egypt? This is an exam. No, it's not an exam.
When did the very cool tomb the face paintings start? Was that a Roman thing, or it was Hellenistic, right?
Oh, you mean the Fayum portraits?
Yeah.
They're
That's
Roman.
what I always think of.
They're Roman.
In the Roman period.
Yeah. So we have these. Do you want to explain what those cool portraits are? Or I don't know. I mean, or just so. In the Roman period, instead of having sarcophagi in with the shape of the face of the deceased carved, we have sarcophagi that are slightly simpler. And instead of carving the face of the deceased, you have a portrait painted on it. And actually, we see them in Origins because we see Bayek's sarcophagus with his portrait, and Aya's sarcophagus with her portrait.
That's true.
Yeah, and these have been used. You're gonna see them everywhere when people talk about race and ethnicity in ancient Egypt, because the diversity in terms of skin color, hair, beard, facial features, and everything else is staggering. These are very beautiful. Now, the big question for art historians is: are these the portraits of what the people really look like, or are these realistic but idealized? Right? There's always the issue of, do we take art at face, pun intended, value, or I'm gonna see myself out, or do we take it as, this is what people kind of look like, and they just got a better version of themselves. I mean, if I were to be buried and I could afford an artist to paint me, I would probably get some fixes here and there. Maybe, fewer white hair here and there, but that's just me.
I would want to look younger. I think most of them, they look younger than they were. but they have very strong, as you said, very strong facial features. So of course they do look like real people, no? But they are at the same time. When you place the photo of the deceased on the tombs now, you always choose the best one. Huh? Maybe it's not the last you have of the person. It's a good-looking one. Huh?
That's true. That's true.
Some people... Did you say something about it? Actually, if you go, it's not only in the tomb of Bayek and Aya. It's also Aya. It's in the. If you go around at Fayoum, you actually see a workshop. There is in the game. In Fayoum, there is a workshop where there are a lot of these paintings, and there is somebody working on them. It's quite beautiful. Did you say anything about the technique?
No, I did not.
It's
you have a vivid imagination.
Then I have to go check the pizza because it's gonna burn.
That is also technique.
No, the technique is called encaustic, and it's basically paint and wax. And so you really see, if you look at them closely, you really see the brush marks on the wax, and they look so contemporary because they really look like the Van Gogh painting with a lot of around them. They're really beautiful, absolutely stunning. Fayoum portraits, because they were discovered in Fayoum for the first time, but they were used throughout all Egypt. So they are not only characteristic of Fayoum. So the name is really tricky. It's not from Fayoum, and it's probably not actually a portrait, but they are stunning pieces.
Yeah, it's the problem with using the term portrait, right? Or like, oh, it looks like it could be a real person, so it's a portrait.
Gonna disappear for a second.
Oh yeah. So we are getting a royal paraphernalia for this guy. So last time we had to get the 5 parts of Ramesses' person. This time we are getting symbols of power and life for his son, which is something. So we're getting a postiche, which is the fake beard, which would be worn by Pharaoh and Pharaoh only, which is something that we see also on female pharaohs, like when Hatshepsut becomes King Hatshepsut. She has herself portrayed with this fake beard. Now, for some reasons, this guy has it. This guard has it. I think. Oh, I mean, no, that's fine. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. So we're bringing like royal things to this guy who has daddy issues, and that is also a very modern projection on ancient things. We have no record of Setna ever clashing with his father to be a scholar rather than a pharaoh or a warrior.
Well, he had so many kids, so they all had to do something.
Yeah, right. You need to, when you have 100, you gotta get them all employed.
I mean, there has to be one scholar among them. I mean,
you'd think. You think also who better than Pharaoh to give a recommendation? For, a job.
If you can present a recommendation letter from the Pharaoh, I mean,
right?
Who wouldn't? I
mean, I think you'll have to get down. There's a hole, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're in the.
Here already. I had to.
Wow.
Whoa.
Just teleported over here, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the...
Kid, you could have gotten all this stuff yourself if you got those kind of powers.
Well, but, Okay, let's see. This sir... Come on. You're making us waste time. We need to. We have aqueducts to see, things to do. Oh, there you go.
Your trials are completed. Your will done.
Oh, he's facing his father. Bringing him pots and things.
My path is my own to walk.
Do I gotta kill this guy again?
No, you don't have to kill him again. He's been dead already, and you re-killed him again. He's just in his paternal figure, I guess. Look at him.
You are not the lion
Oh.
an army of sheep, Bayek.
So his car has also been, freed. Oh, and we have Dark Bayek again.
Watched in the flames you lit.
Oh, we also have Topaz joining
Let
us.
that bring you peace.
Oh, hello. Where is this beauty?
Oh, she managed to avoid the camera. Now she's behind my laptop.
There's where we have two cats that like are elusive and they go around.
Oh, she's coming again. Come. You might see a tail. Let's see here.
Okay.
Will you see it? Oh, there's a tail right. Oh.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see a tail. That's it. We have a cat.
That's Topaz.
All right. Well, excellent.
Topaz just made him kill things just now. That was all her.
Good. That is good to know.
Now she's going on the microphone and cause all kinds of
And
destruction
purring.
here.
All right. So now that we have completed Ramesses' Afterlife, we can get out of the afterlife, out of the DLC, out of Thebes, and we are going to Cyrenaica. So, while we are going there, Hamish, if you want to tell us something about this Roman region with a Greek name.
Yeah, so Cyrenaica is the sort of hinterland of the city of Cyrene, which was founded in the 6th century or something like that by Battus, a colonist from Greece, and sort of plays a part in classical period. In the Hellenistic period, it's the sort of an offshoot kingdom of the Ptolemies for a while, and then is brought into the Roman Empire at some point. The exact dates are a little fuzzy, I think, in the very late Republic. So the 70s BCE. So a bit before Egypt is brought into the Roman Empire, which is why it is Roman when we get there in Origins.
Excellent. So while Briana fights with geography, so how did you find the representation of Cyrenaica at this time in Origins? Because the one thing I read, and like I'm no expert of Roman Egypt by any means, I read that the putting the amphitheater there was a choice because they want a gladiatorial game, but that was not really there. So how do you find this this portrayal of the region? The region is beautiful. I think it's like my favorite of the whole game because it's lush and it changes and it's very Mediterranean looking. So what did you make of this?
Well, the first thing I noticed, and this is something that I always notice in these games, is that this is the most compressed area of any of the areas, I think, in Origins. There's always one area in an Assassin's Creed game, or at least from the last few, where there's something that's kind of far away and they want to make it close, so they have to do some compression. In Valhalla, it's Hadrian's Wall, which they want to bring in, so they have to sort of suck it way down, and Northumbria gets extremely shortened. Thessaly is entirely missing from Odyssey, an entire big province, because they want the sort of northern campaigns of Sparta to be part of it. And yeah, it's Cyrenaica. So if you look at a map and look up Cyrene, it's so far to the west. It's further to the west than like the furthest south that the map gets. But they compress most of that so they can bring it closer and get you in there. The second thing, I guess, is that anytime an Assassin's Creed game has the idea of possibly maybe being able to put an arena there, they will.
Yeah.
Regardless of the historical accuracy of it. I mean, there are so many of these enormous, like,
Yeah.
I mean, Valhalla, it's just like they took a whole lot of Colosseums and plonked them all around the
And
place.
dropped
There's
them in
nothing
York.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we are
Drop them in
actually
London.
we're actually getting an arena in the new DLC. It's gonna be like
Are we?
Yes, we are. We're getting an arena in Muspelheim, I think, and it's managed, and we love an entrepreneur. It's managed by a Valkyrie. We love, entrepreneurial women who take things into their own hands.
Yeah, but remember the arena in Odyssey on Crete? Like that was just out of nowhere. They had like in Befka like the underground arena thing. Like why? I mean, I understand like it's a token of like Rome in popular culture. Like it's either a gladiator arena or chariot race, which this game has as well. But in Greece, I mean, it really doesn't fit anywhere in the
Rome, Greece, potato.
I mean,
it's a symbol of classicism, essentially, which is mostly anachronistic.
We also have these Renaissance statues of Roman emperors. That are actually reconstructed with like these feathers and other things. Also, all the statues are white, which is, as we have said several times, that would not be the case. Even marble would have been painted in bright, garish, gaudy colors with metal accents, because why not? But this is the Colosseum plopped in Cyrene. The one thing I really liked is the Velarium on top, though. That they did pretty well.
Sorry, can you go to the bath just across the street? You see a very, very Roman, maybe late Roman actually, bath house.
True.
Across this.
To the left. To the left, I think.
Just to the left, left. Away from the entrance.
No, now you're going to the Temple of Serapis.
No, away from the entrance, from the gate.
You guys
just walk on the road.
Okay. we have like
just enter the city, and continue on the main street. So turn
right of the Agora.
Yeah, and now slightly right.
Okay, with the domes. Yes, those are the baths.
Yeah, that's very Roman looking.
No, it's because there's a delay in the.
The stream.
You guys are seeing.
Sorry, we're just
no, there, left, right. So I'm
to come in. Oh wait, no, there's a window I can climb into. That's right.
I think so. Yeah. Well, we are appropriately dressed for the baths. So tell us about Roman thermite. Tell us about things and towels.
Yeah. So one of the other things I like about how they represented Cyrene is that it does feel very Greek in a way that a city that's been Greek for far longer than the rest of Egypt had really should feel. And this building, with its sort of like small Roman bricks and those sort of arched roofs, looks very much like I'd expect. Yeah, probably a late Roman bath to look. It definitely reminds me. I've been thinking about Valhalla a lot recently. I just gave a talk on it yesterday, and this just looks like a non-destroyed version of many of the buildings in that game. Which I hadn't really noticed before, actually.
They just copy paste and change the.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, bathing was a big thing in the Roman world, and it spread pretty well throughout the entire of the Roman world. And baths would have a complex set of rooms and different temperatures of water that you'd have to go through and sort of procedures. And there's a lot of debate about how they worked in specific detail. Like, for example, were they segregated by gender, either spatially, and sometimes it looks like it is, and sometimes maybe we theorize it was by time, and maybe they weren't at all. There's lots of questions about it, but they were in a very important social space for Romans, and so it definitely makes sense that a sort of Romanizing city like Cyrene would have one. I don't know whether at this time it really should have one that is this monumental. This is an extremely big bathhouse. Looks more like what I'd expect from the big baths of the emperors at Rome. But that's Assassin's Creed, right? Everything has to be taller so that you can
Everything
jump down.
Everything is giant and you can jump down. Also, like the social aspect of baths. When I teach Latin to like middle school children, people. And they're always surprised to learn that people would actually conduct business in the baths. And I was like, yes, if you have a business meeting, clearly you don't call them into your office. If you're going to the baths, you go with them and you just chill out, with a towel or without the towel, and you just conduct business there. And they're always like, their minds are always running like, what do you mean you conduct business naked? Like, yes, business is business. You can do that, and you can have lunch there, because we know that there were people who would sell, food and drinks around the baths. When people are having business, there's going to be made, so you're gonna have sellers. You're gonna have food sellers. But it's just something that is completely out of our sensibility. Like, I don't know if I would.
This kind of large establishment like this one, and he said it looks like an imperial bathhouse, no thermite. these were were buildings sponsored by the emperor or by the city council in general. So they were very big. They were for free, so people could go inside as thanking the government for how generous it was. But they were also offering a lot of services, just a garden to stroll, or a lecture to listen to, or a library to pick a book and do something. It was really like a sort of mall that we have now, where people go and do many things. If you look at the bathhouses, the thermae of Caracalla, Diocletian, Titus in Rome, I mean, they have huge buildings. A lot of things to do.
That mall comparison is great.
To the bathhouse, and you enjoy it. It's a nice place to be, actually.
There's a fantastic passage from Seneca where he talks about living above a bathhouse and all of the noises that it's constantly making, and lists all the noisy people there are, from like weightlifters grunting and people selling things, and it gives you a really good sense of just the vibrancy of these places. And as well as really big ones like these, there are also smaller private ones where you might have to pay to go in, and they might be much smaller. So if you're familiar with Pompeii, or you look up bathhouses at Pompeii, most of those ones are smaller than this, and sort of private ones probably that would be far more intimate. But they're still fulfilling the same function, where it's people get together to have meetings or just hang out and chill, or do anything that you might do really.
Oh yeah, and have fun. There's this giant late 3rd century sea villa in Sicily, the Villa del Casale in Piazza Armerina, that has its private bathhouse. And it's not big by any means, but it's still like a whole ass bathhouse attached to a private villa. So it was for the whoever the owner of this place was, to just chill and relax. And it is fascinating. And also, sometimes you would have, on the inside, you would have fantastic decorations. You would have colorful stones, you would have marbles and like stones imported from America, you would have statues, you would have fountains, you name it, we have it. It's a very performative space, right? Especially if an emperor is funding it, then you want to show off the reach of the empire, also in terms of what materials you can import that can make an impression on the bathgoers. The bathgoers? The people who go to the baths? Whatever.
Okay.
You get it. The thermi goers.
Bathers, yeah.
The bathers? I don't know. My English is bad.
Imagine, since we're going to see an aqueduct, imagine also that there might have been a line of the aqueduct. There was a line of the aqueduct going directly to the imperial bathhouse, but also the smaller one, they were connected in order. So if you had a private bathhouse in your villa, it means you also had a private connection to the aqueduct in order to supply it with water, which means you must have been very rich and well connected, etc.
Right.
Also a bathhouse in the house of Menander in Pompeii. It's a beautiful villa from the 2nd century BC.
Oh my god. Did you miss that guy? Where's that guy going?
How fast is he running?
I'd say it's time to burn some children.
I'm burning them soldiers.
Sorry, children, get out! This is where we get angry at them. Like, get out, or try to swindle us. But get out. Okay, he's dead.
Where's our list of Kate quotes?
Time to burn children. Yeah, we have a long list of bots and everything else. All right. So,
Can you see? Do you have any plan in this city, or you're doing a mission here, or?
Oh no, we're just chilling, but we can
see them.
Oh yeah.
I think if you go to the Agora, you can see some inscriptions as well.
Oh my god, are we gonna have Pythagoras BC?
No. These are. This is a different inscription. I wouldn't say it's better, but it's a different.
These are legit. Okay.
It's a legit inscription. Yeah.
We can check out the Agora and then jump to the Aqueduct, because it is a very pretty place, and we're gonna talk with Vitruvius and architecture and all of that.
Placed where I'm supposed to go. Oops, excuse me.
To the right here.
Ma'am.
Kate, a silly anecdote about using Assassin's Creed for teaching purposes. No, I teach a course in history of architecture 1, and it covers the Greeks and the Romans. and then I give them an assignment usually, and the assignment is I assign a building, and each student must do a very short descriptive essay and a couple of sketches, a plan and an elevation usually of a building. And sometimes I give the Temple of Zeus in Cyrene. And then the Temple of Zeus in Cyrene was an octa-style building, so a building with 8 columns in the front, which is quite a big building, Doric, so more or less like the Parthenon in Athens. But it's very poorly preserved. I mean, it was also it was destroyed and restored by the Romans, and then if you go now, it's really not a nice thing to see anymore. So when they bring the sketches, they of course the students, what do? They just Google Temple of Zeus Cyrene,
and they get the one in AC.
The first image they find, they take it down, and then they copy it, and they copy the Temple of Zeus from this game, which is unfortunately is a hexa style temple. So I found out that, hey, this is not the
it's not the right plan.
Not the year. This is it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, the one that we're seeing now, though, is a nice Roman temple on podium. It's like, it's fair enough, with the right capitals, thank goodness. With the questionable half-naked ladies on the acroteria, which is, I have issues with that. There's like the ladies with the towel, and so, well, where did you even get those? But yes, where is Briana? If you go to the map, I think you can see the aqueduct, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the ladies with the
It
with
might
the towel.
even be a fast travel point.
Oh, if you...
There is.
But if you zoom out a little bit and then go south.
Oh.
More south? I think,
Yeah, I
there's
think that's it. Yeah, that's it there. I think so. If you zoom in, you might see it.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna see it. If you zoom in.
Oh wait, no, or is it one?
No,
Is it one?
No, it's
below?
one. It's
One
one
down,
over.
one down.
It's
One-
okay.
yeah,
It's fine.
okay,
We'll
fine.
go there. Well, but that's it. That's closer, so we'll go there.
Well, you could walk there, and
Yeah.
then you'd see it appear over the hills. That might be
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, we could ride there on our whatever our horse it is now,
Yeah.
or whatever we are using.
You might even be able to see it from here, just like if you, because it's really big. Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah,
can see
that's
it.
there.
Yeah,
Let's
there,
go.
there it is.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Let's go. So let's. Who wants to start freaking out about this aqueduct?
Actually, I wanted to comment on what Daniela just said, and then something that's funny as well. Like, I love these new Assassin's Creed games. I really do. But it's so annoying that every time you try to look something up for research, you get Assassin's Creed pictures or Assassin's Creed wiki pages on everything. Like, you try to look up something, and then you get like this most obscure reference from this one side quest in Odyssey that people have been talking about, and then you just find that.
It's useful if you're working on Odyssey.
That's fantastic because the Assassin's Creed wiki on Odyssey is amazing. Like, it had all the quests written out, and you can look at the different choices as well. But I mean, apart from that, I mean, it sometimes gets frustrating.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice horse.
Oh yeah.
I also like in
race.
I also
care
like
of
in
serpents.
this
It's
part
full
of
serpents in Cyrenaica.
Oh, there's the whole subquest with the Halo of the Huntress and the seer at the temple, who's voiced by the same actress who voices Cassandra in Odyssey.
Melisanti Mahut.
Have I studied the seer? Of course I have. We know. But she's also saying things that make sense if you think about Valhalla. She's talking about snakes and eagles and other things. So maybe that's a good seer. So here we are. This is the Aqueduct. Who wants to talk aqueducts? Because I literally know nothing apart from they had pipes and they brought water.
Yeah. Okay. So aqueducts, I guess, are one of the big, I don't know, most prominent things maybe about Roman architecture. Often because they're sort of in the middle of nowhere, or the most famous ones are, and they sort of stand out from the local environment. So the basic purpose of an aqueduct, obviously, is to carry water from a spring to somewhere that needs a lot of water, like a city. So in this case, they're building an aqueduct from the spring up in the hills here down to this Roman military camp, I guess. which doesn't seem like it would need that much water, but there you go. That's one of the issues I have with aqueducts usually in these games, that they're more decorative than they are purposeful. Like an aqueduct should, they run over very long distances. There's like hundreds of kilometers of them in the Roman world, and they have very low gradients so that they just sort of gently take the water down from the spring wherever they're coming from. And sometimes they are very high like this, and with big arches, you might think of the Pont de Gard in France, or that kind of aqueduct, but often they're lower, they're maybe even underground at times. The main point is to just maintain a sort of constant flow of water going down. So this one's going to turn into a waterfall, I think, at the camp, but it looks impressive and it gives you something to climb on.
True. And it's also like something that is widely associated with like Rome and
definitely.
And I think also this one is literally copy pasted and ruined into Valhalla, like in I think Yorkshire and Oxenfordshire, I think.
There is an aqueduct in Brotherhood as well.
Yeah.
Do the whole aqueduct that goes.
And you can buy and restore them, I think.
You can also fix it. Yeah, you can fix parts of it. Why don't you go, Briana, toward the other side where you see the spring of water?
Yes. Shall do.
This aqueduct, for example, is too high at this point. I mean, it needs to have a slope that it doesn't. It's just straight. It doesn't make sense. And it's in terms of economy, it's just a huge monument. I mean, why would they build these arcades just to? It needs to go lower, not higher. Because I have some facts, if you allow me. Unfortunately, facts time. I have a class on aqueducts, so I collected a few interesting things. The length varies quite a lot. Obviously, the main reason is where is the water and where is you want to bring this water. But sometimes the economy behind it is also important. So the Romans would rather make a longer aqueduct in order to avoid an obstacle, rather than just dig a tunnel or build something like this to avoid or to cross a valley. It's too expensive. I mean, the Romans are powerful, but they are not stupid. So why would they do it?
Very practical.
I think the shorter aqueduct is 6 kilometers only, the aqueduct of Antioch, and the longest one is 132, the Carthago aqueduct. So it can be really, really long. And we do have this concept of the slope of the incline is very important. And it needs to be calculated. There is a huge variety, but it needs to be calculated very carefully, because the water shouldn't go down too slow, otherwise it gets marshy and undrinkable, and it shouldn't go down too fast, because then it will wear out the canal where it's going through. And then you need to do a lot of maintenance, which also doesn't make much.
The chat is asking if we have aqueducts attested in Roman Cyrenaica.
I don't know.
I'm sure, actually.
I looked it up, and I think there are. But
Briana, you can go into the grotto if you want, into the cave, because the water is there.
And the child is in the.
There was supposed to be an aqueduct in Ptolemais in Cyrenaica, but it was supposed to be of the time of Adrian. So that's
so late, way later than this. Yeah.
There's another thing. Let me find this article.
That's a nice spring. Hey, 6Ks, welcome. That is a nice spring. Also, a lot of debris in the water, which is. I think if you pulse, you may find something in the water. I think.
Oh, really?
I think it's part of a quest. If you haven't done the quest already.
Yeah.
I probably had done it already.
Oh, that's fine. Then who cares? But you know, we have the whole quest with Vitruvius. We have like 2 or 3, if I recall correctly, not just one.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it sends you up and down the valley.
Yeah, and I think it leads into this quest in the Agora as well, like and then Vitruvius appears with like some other characters as well. I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like an entire Roman-themed quest.
It's a big part of the main quest that leads you to Cyrenaica.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, then we probably already done this. I am guilty of not having watched the whole playthrough that Briana did on her channel. Gasp. I'm sorry.
It probably was one of those that one night when I was just grinding through until like 4 a.m. and then like my eyes were just completely trashed after that.
Oh.
Are these flying fish?
Yes!
One of these.
We have the glitches.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yes, those are.
I haven't seen it before.
Those are
That's
even
an
better in
interesting-
Valhalla, where you can shoot them.
Oh,
You could.
yeah.
Oh my god! Can you shoot the fish?
Yep.
Set them on
You can
fire.
hunt flying fish.
Can you set the fish on fire?
This would be an achievement, really.
This is fantastic. Oh my god.
Switch
This,
to
are we
bow.
are we air barbecuing?
Yes, we are attempting.
The original
And we
air
need to
fryer.
test the limits.
Yeah.
We need to test the limits of the glitches, right?
Yeah. We are playtesting for a game that came out.
They should pay us for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going in the walls. They're glitching into the walls. What?
Someone clip this.
I am, and there's also like water lilies just floating in the nothingness. I am very concerned, but also, are we really surprised? No. Sometimes you get flying triremes in Origins.
Huh.
Sometimes it happens. Or triremes that have not finished rendering, so you can't access them, but you have a quest on them.
Want some fried fish?
If you go back to the aqueduct at this end, there's a nice little feature to point out as well.
Oh yeah, go. Do the things like today's streaming is like chilling around and talking about whatever the guests want.
Before you go to the city, can you go back to the aqueduct and show us the area where the water is supposed to flow?
Yeah, that's what I want to go to.
Ah, you want to?
Right.
You didn't, yeah. I thought you wanted to go to the city.
No. One of the things that I like about this is see how the top of the aqueduct is covered over here, and then a little bit further on, you can see the channel underneath where the water is going.
Yeah.
So sometimes aqueducts were covered like that, and sometimes they weren't. I'm not sure if there's a specific rule or if that's a regional thing or just about what is likely to fall into them. But they were concerned about sort of like what was going into the water. And often this meant that there was a channel, basically a big sort of pipe along the whole thing, that they would send people into to clean at various points. Slaves, obviously, because you don't send Romans in to do that.
So non-people by Roman standards.
Yeah.
Can I ask about the material of the pipes? Because I know that, like, for instance, the 6th century BC aqueduct in Athens, the pipes are made of terracotta. And we know that someone got obscenely rich because they all have the same mark, the same stamp on them. But, like, what would Roman pipes be made of? Because we have that whole sub-quest in Valhalla with lead. But I was wondering. And then we have a question from the chat. Another horrifying question from the chat. Thank you, Kim. We appreciate your horrifying questions about children. So first the pipes and then the children.
For an aqueduct like that, so Romans made pipes out of lead and also in some places from terracotta. But in a aqueduct like this, it wouldn't be a pipe that was constructed as a pipe. It would just be the stones on either side sealed close enough that it was like a stone corridor. Maybe is a better word than a pipe, like big enough that a person could go through, and maybe a child. Probably still an enslaved child, because there's certainly no child labor laws in the Roman world. Yeah.
But so this is the other part of the horrifying question. How bad would it be to drink from lead pipes on the regular?
I mean, not as bad as people in the 18th century thought, I think. But I mean, bad.
The destruction of the.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're gonna die before the lead is gonna get to you. But yeah. I
Lead
can
pipes
imagine.
do not cause the fall of Rome. Let's just say that.
We do not endorse lead pipes or lead anything.
Lead is also was also a very expensive material, and it does require a lot of maintenance, and it does require a lot of expertise to mine it, to work it, to just create the things. So I don't think it was that common. I mean, it was one of the materials, but they used it carefully when it's needed, and when there is nothing else. Like the best solution for an aqueduct like this is just you have
Just a channel.
stone, and you can use a waterproof mortar to make sure that it doesn't the water doesn't leak out. You have pottery pipes, obviously, and you also have wood pipes. In the Roman aqueduct of Paris, I think, had some wooden pipes, and wooden pipes were common in your part of the Atlantic, Kate. And
Oh, my part of the Atlantic?
in the United States, they had still until not long ago. I mean, not long ago, 100 years ago. You have, these huge trunks of tree trunks. You just cut the tree, you hollow it, and you just fix them together with leather and bolts, and it would just work because it's so thick and it's so. I mean, wood. Some kinds of wood can also be relatively water resistant. So if the Romans had an area where forests were abundant, they would definitely use also that.
I'm learning so much about pipes. This is excellent.
I had a question in my exam last semester. Tell me more about pipes in Roman.
Like, okay. I do have questions about the technology used to pull up things like cranes and all other stuff, because in these games we see a lot of wood, a lot of cranes. How on point are them in terms of technology compared to the real world? And we also see a lot of siege machinery that is not being used for whatever reason, but we see it in forts. Do you have any insight on that? Now that we're getting into, the nitty gritty of how to build things and how to lift stuff.
I don't.
Okay, that's good.
I see too much wood in Egypt, unfortunately. I think one so much wood in the construction sites that is so unrealistic. I mean, in Aswan, where we were last week, in the cataract area, you have this village where the descendant of Ramses II was Suter, and it's all built of wood.
The swindler.
Why would you do that?
It's all built.
They want to give variety. They want to give. It's cool, it's nice, but it's just not feasible.
Yeah,
I don't know how wooded Cyrenaica was though in the ancient world. There's certainly a lot of deforestation between now and ancient times, and I know large parts of the Levant and southern Turkey are significantly less wooded than they used to be. I don't know how that applies to like this part of North Africa in what is now like eastern Libya.
Briana, you cannot go up that rope. You can only go down that rope.
We've all tried it.
We've all attempted. I have another urban legend question about silphium, because we see silphium here in Cyrenaica, and we are told, the Romans and the Greeks used too much silphium and they extinguished it. Is that real? Is that true? I'm very confused, because I read around that it was used a lot and it doesn't exist anymore. But I am unsure about whether it was like climate change or just overuse and not planting enough of it. I'm not a botanist, an archaeobotanist on those things, but I found it very interesting. And also I think the silphium was on the coins from Cyrenaica, if I'm not mistaken.
It was one of the symbols on their coins, because it was so important to their economy. It was very important to Cyrenaica, and it was very extensively used in the Roman world. I don't know exactly when it sort of ran out, but it definitely did, and we don't actually know what it is anymore because it doesn't seem to exist, at least in the same quantities. I think there's a number of theories, but I haven't looked into exactly how well supported they all are. But famous Roman poets of late antiquity mention Libya attached to silphium as the major thing that they associate it with. think it's Horace that says something about like
Let me check.
Sylphian Cyrene or something like that. Like that kind of reference where it's so closely attached to the name.
Yeah, it was used in like in medicine for various things, mostly for I hear mostly for abortions, because it can cause a miscarriage if you use the right amount. But then again, with all herbs, like there's always a side effect if you use too much of it. Like I can't imagine it was there was the most flourishing industry, but maybe it was also used for other things, and it just went. I read like I've read that it's like we have like some plants of the same family, but we're not entirely sure which one is the closest now, because we have the representation of the coins, and there's that. Unfortunately, we don't have ancient descriptions of the thing in detail.
Well, we do, just not in enough detail. If you look at Pliny the Elder wrote
I was
a ton
about while I was saying that, I was like, I'm sure Pliny talked about it.
Yeah, Pliny absolutely does, but he didn't, but not in enough detail. And he talks about so many things. There are so many plants, or there's so many things from the natural world mentioned in Pliny that we just don't know exactly what they are, and there's a lot of debate about them. It's Catullus 7 is what I'm thinking of. Lesbia poem.
Yeah.
He says, as big a number as the Libyan sand grains that lie at Sylphium-bearing Cyrene, between the oracle of sultry Zeus, that's Zeus Ammon, and the sacred tomb of old Battus, that's Cyrene itself. This is the founder. This is how many kisses Catullus is going to give his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, and then when she dumps him, he's gonna call her names and tell that she's doing things to people in the harbors. So we'll know how that goes. Yep. We all know which one I'm talking about. But yeah, so that is to express a multitude of kisses that he's getting pre-breakup.
Pliny also has an extensive section on papyrus and papyrus paper making, which we can't decipher as well. I mean, it's just telling us how they did it, but if you try, it doesn't work. how is it that it's discussing how is it that the paper, what is it that makes the glue, for the fibers of the papyrus to actually stay? So is it the water of the Nile? Is it something in the plant? And papyrus in Egypt is another plant of those which got extinguished by over exploitation. Doesn't exist anymore.
Is this
really
like a drawing on an ostrakhan here?
That doesn't grow naturally anymore. I mean, I have a pot on the balcony, but it doesn't grow in the delta. It doesn't grow naturally.
Where papyrus grows in Syracuse?
Yeah.
At the Ortigia Spring, it grows naturally, and they make Briana.
What are you doing?
Like, show me what you're writing on your ostrakhan. No, I would kill you. Show me.
You ass! What are you writing? This poor man. Oh my god.
He's just quietly reading.
I'm not surprised that Pliny doesn't give good information on making papyrus, because Pliny got most of his stuff from reading books rather than from observing it. So he's probably read a description of it somehow and misinterpreted or misunderstood some key part, or just not realized that some part was important and not put that in.
To be fair, his uncle tried to look at things rather than seeing them in books and died for it. So maybe.
That is the Pliny that actually.
Oh, right.
Pliny the Elder wrote the natural history. He was the one who got too close to the volcano trying to save people.
That's right. Well.
Yeah, I mean, he should have stuck to the books.
Is quite something. You were asking about machinery, not about things and stuff.
God.
Well, we did advertise the arson, so.
Yeah, that's very true. So we need to have arson. So this is the quote for the arsonists in our chat.
But we do have some other things I know about the Greeks. For example, they used to move large blocks of stone by basically encasing them into a wooden cylindrical structure so they could roll them. No, you have a huge stone architrave, and the quarry is far away from the construction site. Or you also have columns. You can't roll them on the ground; they will break eventually. But you can case them into in a wooden structure that is cylindrical, and then you can roll that. And they had some pretty wicked engineering, and the Greeks as well.
That's cool. Oh, also smart.
Yeah. Especially in the Ionic, in the coast of the Turkish, what is not Turkey, the Anatolian coast, where they build these huge Ionic temples, Deca style, Dodeca style, massive buildings. Some of them left unfinished because they were too huge. How do you move these blocks? That's a big problem.
Yeah, having said that, I don't have anything to say about technology. That I should say that is because I haven't read Vitruvius particularly closely. If you do want to know about how the Romans built all these structures, then Vitruvius would be a great place to start.
The Vitruvius, he's your man.
Is he here? Even though
oh, look at Alex with the source.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
he has an entire chapter, I think, on our Aqueduct. Let me see.
For Aqueduct, we look at Frontinus. Frontinus wrote something on the aqueducts of the city of Rome.
Yep.
It's a very, very interesting source for the understanding of how aqueducts work.
The entirety of Book 8 is devoted to water and aqueducts.
Well, you upset some
cisterns.
Oh wow, there are people to poison. Sorry, sir. It's a bad day. We're all having a bad day.
Just relaxing after a hard, busy work day, and then comes this guy in a towel.
In a towel, killing people. I mean, who doesn't? Who amongst us?
Yeah, who amongst us have never poisoned anyone in a towel near a Roman aqueduct?
I'm surprised you didn't catch on fire then, actually. Is the Vitruvius NPC here?
Yeah.
Or does he go once the quest is gone?
No, I think he's at the other side of the aqueduct. But I think we paused briefly. Like there was this one NPC who paused and had an option to speak with them. But
I left him an offering.
That's good. That's good. We're very pleased. You know that you can set his camel on fire?
No, don't give her ideas.
How do you know?
You know the answer to that.
Yes, please.
I prepare. I like to be. I like to be prepared for this thing. This is horrible.
Is this an in joke to the Camel brand of cigarettes?
Burnt offering.
What?
Oh my god. Yes.
No.
I mean, they have enough water.
You set him on fire now. Oh my god.
He's gonna curse you and your descendants until the time.
Exactly, up to the 7th generation.
I think we know that guy is riding on the Ostracon now.
Oh yes, he's writing Bayek sucks. He's writing bad things about Bayek and hating. Also, to bring the conversation up to scholarly thing, also because I need to refill my tea. Is there anything, Dr. Cameron, is there anything peculiarly Roman that you would like us to explore and tell us about?
The main thing that I have thought about when I was writing the chapter on this section, actually, that will be coming out at some point, I don't know when, is about Vitruvius and his quest, and the way that it positions Vitruvius as the only good Roman amongst all of the bad Romans who you're constantly murdering, with a quest very on the nose titled The Good Roman. But it's a little bit of double, as classic Assassin's Creed thing, right? The quest has a double meaning, and who is the good Roman actually. So yeah, Vitruvius, I don't know if we have evidence that Vitruvius, well, we have an inscription from another part of Africa that mentions someone called Vitruvius. So there might be evidence that Vitruvius went to Africa at some point, but we don't actually know that much about his life. So we don't know whether Vitruvius, the NPC here, whether his position in Cyrenaica is like accurate at all. But we do know he served in the army, which is pretty a common place for engineers to learn their trade. And then he went on after that to write the books on architecture that Alex showed to the camera before. And he's the right time period. He was born in the early 1st century and died towards the end of the 1st century. So it is plausible, I guess, that Vitruvius could be here. It's not a vastly out of time thing, as is sometimes the case. What is going on there?
That's a dog.
Yeah.
That's a dog with very... Oh, it's a dog that is glitchy. You can't pet. This is sad.
That's a crime against humanity.
This is very sad. However,
Valhalla.
that really looks like an Egyptian dog.
Mm.
When you have depictions of dogs, especially hunting dogs, in ancient Egyptian tombs especially, you have this type of very thin, pointy-eared, slender dogs, and some of them have excellent names like Lightning, Bolt, Wind, everything else, and then you have Potbelly. So we can all imagine.
Can I suggest we go look at a Roman camp where they are performing Crucifixion?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Let's. Okay. Let's
killing people with no.
Yeah.
reason.
Let's shift the conversation down. Let's talk about Romanization of Egypt. Let's talk about colonization. Let's talk about who are the good Romans.
North along the main road. In
Where
that main
you can
valley.
It's on the road from Siwa to Cyrenaica. I can't remember. It must be by one of the camps.
A bit left of where you are.
The camp you see with the two spears.
Yes. Oh, two.
Yeah. No.
No, up.
if you don't teleport there, if you just take the road north, you'll get there. It's in that valley there.
Oh, it's the one near the vulture.
Prasino's outpost.
Prasino's outpost. Let's go.
Okay.
It's green outpost.
A fast travel.
There's also
No, you should just walk there.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Yeah.
Oh, am I close?
Yeah, walk there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really
alright.
close.
All right. Off we go.
Someone in the chat says, everyone post your favorite gnome.
Okay, listen. Do I have opinions about the favorite gnomes? Yes. Do we have opinions as Egyptologists about our favorite gnome? Also, yes. It's the one with the weirdest animal. So clearly it has to be the hair that is on drugs. The one with the long pointy ears and the eyes like that. But who knows? But anyways, yes, James and Chelsea, don't forget to call in at the Oracle of Apollo. We do love an oracle. We know that Cyrene had a special relationship with Apollo because Apollo was the father of the mythical founder of Cyrene, but also the name Cyrene is the name of this woman with whom Apollo has, we are told consensual, intercourse, and their son is the mythical founder of the city. So it's one of the very few times in which one of the Greek gods actually obtains consent before, making a child with a mortal woman, unheard of. Although in that instance, he takes the shape of a wolf. So, take that as you wish. We're, we are told in not uncertain terms that he chooses specifically the wolf, and she's like, oh, okay, I can, I dig that. That's how the city is born, when a dead wolf and a female mortal love each other very much. But that is why Cyrene has this special relationship with Apollo, and there was an oracle.
So I think that's the story that Pindar gives. If you want to read the historical account, then that's in Herodotus.
Yes. They give us these beautiful stories about the city. Also, So we are here. We're getting the birds and the bees talk right now. Yes. Yes, but instead of birds and dogs, it's gods and mortal women with consent, which is very rare. So, get that. So we are here with the...
Brutality here.
Come again?
Let's talk legionary brutality.
Yes, let's talk violence, let's talk crucifixion. Let's talk about how you die when you're crucified and why most representations of Jesus being crucified are wrong.
But these are correct.
These are correct and true. So, which among our esteemed guests wants to tell us about Roman brutality and tortures?
Sounds like Daniela does.
Oh, well, I think we have a Roman historian, so I'd rather let you talk. I thought you would tell us something.
I mean, I think one of the things that this game does really well is highlight the kind of brutal reality of Roman imperialism. And I don't have any particular things to say about the specific archaeological correctness of crucifixion. But crucifixion was a punishment for slaves or people that the Romans thought were equivalent to slaves, such as people who revolt from their power. So I don't know if we have any specific historical references to crucifixions happening in Cyrenaica, but they would have, because it was a pretty standard thing. I don't know what else I want to say at this point.
I mean, it is a bad way to go.
I think they very recently found another bone with a nail in it. I think in Israel, because there was already another one, but this was like a month ago. They actually found a bone with a nail still inserted in it, and that's the idea that they basically. This is true also. They not necessarily would nail your hands, and they wouldn't nail your hands in the palm, but more at the wrist, because that's where the bones are stronger. But they could just use a rope like this and hang you, because the idea is that you are suspended until you just give up and die. You know? This is what the Gospels say more or less when they speak about the crucifixion. That they eventually, when they get tired of this, they just ask the soldiers to crack the bones of the two people, no, at the two sides of Jesus. So they stop and they give up, and then they don't have any strength, and then they suffocate. That's the idea. The interesting thing here is the way they are crucifying the feet, because we are used to the Western art idea of not this man in particular. Because he's the other ones, they don't have the nails through the feet, but through the ankles. So they are like this guy at the two sides of the pole. And this is the bone that was already found I think in Jerusalem. And this is, we need to thank the Romans, because the crucifixion in Jerusalem is the one of Titus and probably, or maybe Hadrian was probably of Titus. That it's Josephus who says that they, at a certain point, they had no trees. They crucified so many people that they just started crucifying them on the walls of the city. There's no way to host all these people. Well, it's getting gruesome.
I suspect the deforestation
is usually fun.
I suspect the deforestation was not due to the amount of crucifixions done, though. No matter what Josephus does, it was probably due to centuries of shipbuilding before that. You don't need many crucifixes to kill people, but anything that you can say to get a good rise, I guess.
The famous Spartacus, no? How the Spartacus thing ended with the road from Rome to, what was it, Capua to Rome?
Capua.
From Capua to Rome.
That was quite impressive.
Oh yeah, but this is also like to remind us that like the Roman occupation was pretty brutal, and the Roman army was pretty brutal. Although the punishments for deserters were harsh, even in the Egyptian army, and the Egyptian army was not tender.
Which army?
right? I mean, we have pharaohs bragging about hanging the bodies of the enemy leaders from the pros or the ships, and then going all the way up from Kush to Thebes with the guy hanging. We have Amunhotep II bragging about burning 250 people alive. So it's like the idea of the Romans as an occupation force is probably true to life. I mean, we have Roman historians and Egyptian historians here, so you can tell me, if I'm wrong. But like, this is not to say that the Egyptians were saints on their own. When they went to war, they also committed horrific acts. This is not like a Roman exclusive. Everyone was just fucking gruesome doing their things, right?
Imperial power is always enforced by force, right? So that very few people joined the Roman Empire by choice. Although Cyrene, interestingly, was bequeathed, one of the states that was bequeathed to the Romans in the 90s. They don't seem to have actually taken that up until the 70s. But just because the king dies and says, "Oh, Rome can have my kingdom now," doesn't mean that everybody in the kingdom, including the nobles who might have expected to have some power, are going to go along with that.
Right, that's also what happens with Pergamon, right? The last rule of Pergamon leaves the kingdom to Rome. Questionable testament. Was he forced? Did he think it was the right thing to do? But yeah, we have a few exceptions to the rule by force, but definitely imperial power. Go.
I think both of those. So both of those places, the king bequeaths it, and then the Senate kind of takes their time. So I don't think that they were forced by the Senate, but I mean forced by other circumstances. Maybe like the king of Pergamon wanted his empire not to go to his big rival who lived near him, so a final act of spite, I guess, against that guy. But yeah, all of this is the politics of rulers, and the politics of rulers is not the daily lives of everyday people who would have experienced the rather sharp end of Roman power.
Right. Someone in the chat is saying that it's a good point that the Roman occupation seems brutal to us, but in the ancient world, state cruelty is relatively normal, so it's a question of degree. Yes. There's
criticism also back in the days. No? It's not so.
Oh yeah.
What is the one that I like it very much, but I always forget the person that the Romans make a desert and they call it peace.
Mm-hmm. Tacitus.
I think.
This is
Tacitus Agricola 20 or something.
Yeah.
It's the chieftain, that says something like that. Incredibly strong.
Yeah, and the fascinating thing about that is that it's put in the mouth of a chieftain, but the chieftain didn't say that. That's what Tacitus is saying about Roman power himself. So that's a Roman elite recognizing the brutality of Roman power.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the corruption inherent to it, right? I'm thinking like Tacitus, when he's describing the German tribes, it's like, oh, they're much better than us because they live a simpler life and they're not corrupted by power. Good luck with that. But then again, he's kind of idealizing enemies that had been brutally slaughtered, just to make a point about how much Roman power was corrupt at that point. But certainly, a chieftain, my girlfriend from Canada said that, right? This mythical figure. The chieftain from.
We apologize to any Canadian in the chat.
We apologize to any girlfriends and any Canadians in the chat.
I would say though about the brutality of the ancient world that it's a bit. We have to be careful about not valorizing our own world as not brutal and the ancient world as being inherently more brutal. There's a lot of myths around that, I think. Obviously, there is brutality, but there are things that we can call out as being brutal that we shouldn't think of as necessarily being normal for the Romans, even if in some ways they were normalized, like domestic violence against enslaved people was normalized. Yes. But there's a significant way to which that is kind of normalized in our world as well. Not the enslaved part, but domestic violence is still an issue for us. So as much as we have changed a lot and our society is inherently different to ancient societies, I still think there's a danger of taking that a little bit too far and looking at the ancient world as being, it's like life was brutal and short and everyone lived to be, if you were 30, you were old. It's like, okay, all right, let's think about
unpack that. Let's talk about the mortality curve and how the children just take everything down. right?
It's also much easier for us now to access and see violence. No, maybe we don't experience it, but it's we are playing now a game where full of dead bodies.
Where Briana is killing people left unchecked. This is what Dr. Jackson does.
Maybe a peasant in Cyrenaica never saw anyone die brutally in all his life. For us, it's much easier. We have TV, we have internet. We see horrible things all the time, and they become normal. And the more they
there's also one of the arguments about slavery. When people say, "Oh, but it was normal back then," I'm like, no, we have people speaking up very clearly against slavery, and I mean, we have Seneca saying that you should treat your enslaved people as people and be nice to them. Still keeping them, not advocating for freeing them, but like in the 1700s and 1800s, like even in America, in the American discourse, there are people who are denouncing that. Even like at the eve of the conquest of South America, we have Bartolomé de las Casas denouncing the horrors and atrocities of the conquistadores. So when like that is always like a risk with ancient times. So I say, oh, but it was normal. Everyone was fine with that. It's not. We have the terrifying blood-curdling destruction that Seneca makes of the games, where it says, oh, at midday they're burning people and then they feed them to beasts and then they're killing each other. And it's like, you read that and you're like, okay, this is gross. And so it's not normalized, but somehow... I don't know, somehow I get the impression that some people get a sort of perverse pleasure into imagining a very cruel, very bloodshed, like ancient world where bloodsheds were like, all of the place, and everyone was fine with it. Whereas perhaps as scholars, we should also be cautious with that. Notwithstanding what Dr. Jackson is doing. Sorry, go on.
As Dr. Mr. Larson says in the chat that we are, I think he's right that we are more insulated against death, right, in the modern world. And this is, I'm not trying to say that the ancient world wasn't brutal and there wasn't brutality in it. I just think there's a danger there in going too far and making too much of a separation in terms of like how much better we are today.
No, I agree. I think I think there's different ways of brutality, and I think it depends on what we define as brutal. I mean, I believe we may say that there was more like active violence, maybe like blood violence, maybe in the ancient world. But then again, we shouldn't generalize our world. As one culture as well.
I mean, if you look at the distinction between gladiatorial games and modern combat sports, it starts to get a bit fuzzy, right? The number of people who presumably pay to watch things like UFC, where nobody's dying, hopefully. I mean, presumably people have. I don't watch it. I'm not entirely sure, but it's pretty violent. And the number of people who die in gladiatorial games is admittedly much more than that. But not as many people die in gladiatorial games as the public perception of gladiatorial games would have it be.
It's one of the points that's also made in the Ross Clare's recent book on games. Like in gladiator games, it's always like everybody's dying left and right, or in like the Spartacus TV show as well, for example. But in reality, the number was that show is something. But in reality, the number was far lower.
Yeah, I mean, gladiatorials are an investment, and you don't want your investment to die.
True.
So, which is terrible and it's awful because those men are property. One thing that I thought the Spartacus TV show showed well it's trash. It's problematic. It has Lucy Lawless, so that's a good thing. It's the fact that the male gladiators have no agency in terms of sex. Like, if your domina wants you, you cannot say no, right? Which is something that somehow gets glossed over because, like, oh, they were like, soccer stars, and they could have whoever they wanted. Like, no, they were not people, so they could not have agency in that sense. Just like the one silver lining from that trash can of a show, which I love dearly, but it's still trash. Right? I'm proud of it, but still trash.
There's a lot of work on that show, incidentally. If anybody's interested, there are a fair amount of articles. I don't know if is there an academic book on Spartacus yet? I feel like it might be.
Show, on the movie, I'm sure.
No, on the show, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Let me see. There's a book by Martin Winkler on the movie, but on the show. No, that there's one now on what's it called? Troy.
Troy
Fall of a City.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay.
There's certainly a lot of articles around anyway about it. So
If you haven't watched Troy, Fall of a City, you could.
you should. It's great.
You should. It's great. It's also trash.
It is.
It's great. That has a very convincing Achilles, though. I have to say that Achilles sold me. I was like, yes, that is the Achilles we deserve.
So there's
that Menelaus. Oh my god.
So there's a book on Star Spartacus reimagining an icon on screen, edited by Anthony Augustakis and Monica Serino. From 2018. I'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah, so we also have an interesting comparandum with Spartacus 1960. Is that the one with Kirk Douglas? Where what starts the revolt is the one time there is a forced match to the death. More realistic? Yeah,
it is this idea of revolting against power. That is, and the big revolting of the masses that is exploited in that movie, I think. Like the people standing up against Roman imperialism or Roman might, because it's not empire yet.
I mean, that's a very 1960s American idea, right? I mean, it reminds me of something else. But you know, there's also this big question about how much did everyday life change for people that were not in the centers of power. Like when Egypt becomes Roman, how would the people in, I don't know, Siwa perceive the change? Would they even be too aware of the change? Like, would they get different tax collectors? Would they have to start speaking different languages? Like, sometimes we assume that everyone knew everything all of a sudden, but like most of the time people, like it took time for people to realize that Pharaoh had changed. Also because they would never see Pharaoh in person. So I don't know how much, if we know about how much life changed for people once Egypt became a Roman province, to be fair. For the everyday life person, let's say, the average Middle Egyptian, like, you know, Upper Egyptian person, right? Yes, it's true. You realize there's a new emperor when you get a fresh coin. If you don't have coins, then
well, the coin thing is interesting because a lot of the time we can tell how long it took for news to get to other parts of the empire because we were still see coins being minted in places like Egypt for the last emperor several months after they'd died, right? Because they just haven't heard, so they're still stamping out Hadrian, even though it's like it's time for the next guy.
That is something, but that's true because like you don't know immediately. You don't get like a breaking news. The emperor's dead. You'd be like a few months late with the news.
To answer the question about what social life might have been like and whether people noticed the change, Egypt is actually a really great place to look at that because of all the papyri that we have far more insight into sort of normal people's lives, at least as far as their tax returns are concerned, I guess, and some of their contractual arrangements, than we do elsewhere, because that's such a rich source of information about what people who are not elite are doing, people that historians don't notice, and ancient historians I'm talking about here, who are the kind of people that historians of the past 30, 40 years have been focused on, maybe more than the big name people that everybody's heard of.
Sorry, something fell in some apartment around.
Was it a Roman body?
I won't confirm nor deny. There are fully Roman bodies around.
I love how there's some people in game who are gonna return to their horse and found like a dead body stuck to their horse.
There was a guy who jumped on this horse right here. He jumped on this horse.
And then
he ran off, and then I killed him, and now I can't find him.
Oh well.
Unless I already placed him on another horse.
It could be. Yeah, we've been like going on about, Roman brutality and everything else, and Dr. Jackson has been going feral on things, which is what we like to see.
Killing and putting bodies on horses.
I'll be free.
Oh yeah, doing things. What we can do for like the last, I don't know, half an hour-ish of the stream would be maybe go back to Thebes and proceed with the main quest. But we can keep talking about ancient Rome, but just proceed with the main Curse of the Pharaohs quest, if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, I think you've looked at all the main Roman parts of the.
Yeah, that's
game.
that's fair. So
Most of them, I think, yeah.
we can go back to killing the undead and other stuff.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Or at least I should say the main Roman parts in terms of thinking about like Roman imperialism and Roman
Yeah.
sort of culture and
Yeah.
its imposition in the provinces of the empire. There's lots of other Roman parts involving Caesar, obviously,
well,
and
Yeah.
the gladiators in Memphis. No, where are they?
Yeah.
Crocodilopolis.
Crocodilopolis.
in Crocodilopolis, yeah. I mean, yes, plenty of gladiatorial games in Crocodilopolis, famously, right?
But am I think that one looks less Roman, doesn't it?
That's Greek. That's the
Yeah, it's because the one in Cyrene, that's like an actual Roman arena.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
think
yeah.
the other one is that it doesn't have that Roman.
But isn't the owner Roman? The one in Crocodile?
yeah, Berenike.
yeah.
Yeah, the
The owner is
crocodile.
Roman.
Yeah,
And the Greeks didn't have arenas like that, so it was a Roman arena.
yeah,
Uh,
true. Yeah,
I had to
Yeah,
complete
we
this.
still hate her. So you need to complete Blood in the Water.
And keeping in mind that Egypt at the time is still under Cleopatra.
hmm
I mean, we are after
Yeah.
44, so probably
Yeah.
the time of the Civil War. No?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Mark.
So we are still we always have questions in the chat about would the Romans be down there? No, they would not.
No. Well, not to this.
well, individual Roman entrepreneurs might be
Yeah.
down in
We love
Ptolemaic Egypt,
entrepreneurs.
like that guy who's running that arena, but the Roman, definitely not the Roman military.
yeah.
In Sinai, we
It's literally ahead of his time.
Although the Gabini are accurate as well, actually. I mean, obviously they're not a secret cult organization, but
But would
Their
we know
presence-
if they were a secret cult?
well,
though?
exactly. Their presence in Egypt at the time is historically accurate.
Well, someone is eating hippo. Okay, that's Can you eat hippo meat? Is it edible?
Yes.
I guess.
Oh, okay, good. Does it taste like chicken? I don't assume so, but who knows?
I haven't
me-
tried,
let-
but I know that it's eaten. It
Let me
was.
Google. How does hippo taste?
Oh my god,
We already
that's
know
it.
how hippos sound. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, we
We
do.
do. I'm not doing it again. We have a clip from last week of me making hippo
Right.
sounds and then Max making hippo sounds. We're not repeating that.
Apparently, the taste is mild, less than lamb, and more than beef. Slightly more marbled than usual venison.
Okay.
Apparently.
Does it taste anything like horse? Were the Greeks
I
onto
don't-
something with the name?
Ooh,
Ooh.
Interesting.
We're asking the right questions here.
yeah.
We are also going to see, Briana, we're going to see the necropolis of the nobles. You are going to be pleased.
But there's no her.
And I know, and then you are going to be very displeased. I have expectations. I have
I think
expectations.
this is like a general experience with Assassin's Creed. You're gonna like it, but you're also gonna hate it.
Nothing's worse
One
than
thing I don't like is, and you realize it only after a while, is how they're just taking basically New Kingdom Egypt, and then they put some Greeks here and there, and then it says, okay, this is late Ptolemaic Egypt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is probably what it looks like.
They're doing a great effort. I still love the game, and it's just amazing. I said the people that go around with these typically New Kingdom names, and it's not really how it was. I mean, it's nice how you have the decay of the buildings, how many large temples are abandoned, which would be more the case with the Romans. When you start the 2nd century CE, then you see all these large temples would be closed. Luxor temple would be transformed into something else, no, a Roman encampment by the time of Diocletian. But by the time of Diocletian, it was already abandoned. It's not like they are forcing the priests out of Egypt.
Brianna, I think you can go around the hilltop. I think.
Oh,
There
it's
should
on the
be-
other side?
I think so, or like inside the tomb. I don't remember exactly. If there's a road, go around.
You need to go up, yeah.
Alright.
There are two entrances.
Get my horse.
No, it was.
Yeah, get the things. Yeah, it's a nice horse.
Coming around over here.
Yeah, Rome Total War is the case when they're literally just New Kingdom Egypt despite being 50 BC. Yes. Which is why you play with mods. And
Rome Total Realism.
oh yeah, I actually modded Attila Total War to start in like 250 BC. So you know, as one does. Oh yeah, so we have conveniently placed exploding jars here. But yes, we're also looting Necropolis, which is something.
It's an interesting theme, Kate. How they're using this idea that the Romans are actually purchasing works of art, which fuels the police and the Greeks and some Egyptians to loot the ancient tombs so that they can sell things for the market. And Bayek is obviously, very patriotic, not necessarily nationalist, but is very attached to the culture. And I think it's an interesting thing to talk about because it's actually very, very contemporary. It's going on right now in this country. I'm in Cairo right now, so here we have this. The market is fueling the destruction of a lot of archaeological sites. So I think here they really touched on a very important topic.
It sounds sounds about right.
I don't know how much there was a art market that was exploiting things like that in the ancient period. Like I feel when I think about Romans stealing objects, I think about them stealing objects as war booty. I don't think of them as being an art market that people sell to, because they're not valuing the things for their intrinsic beauty a lot of the time. They're valuing them, well, sometimes they are, but often they're valuing them for the fact that they took them off somebody and it's a symbol of power. So I feel like...
I'm not saying it's historical, it's just how they're using this to talk about something that is relevant today. But yes.
Yeah. No, I think that's exactly right. And I think that's one of the things that, I mean, you see this a lot in the Assassin's Creed games, right, where there's some contemporary issue that they're bringing into the game, and often they're doing it in a kind of smart way. It's just anachronistic, but I agree. I think that's I think that's good actually as a way of highlighting that issue, because it's a serious issue in today's.
Briana, I think the entrance was where you killed people.
You need to go up.
Or up. Oh yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. I played it last week.
Oh, okay. So from the chat is saying I don't recall seeing a big cultural Roman interest in old Egyptian art, and yeah, that's true. I agree. The Romans had much more interest in Greek and Hellenized art, which is what they coincidentally looted. But yeah, Egyptian art did not really appeal to them to a point. Egyptian jewels for sure.
Have the obelisks.
And obelisks, but that's because like there's something. Oh look, we stole them and then we transported here. I mean, how cool are we, right? Look, we took an obelisk and we made it into the gnomon of a giant
sundial.
Or sundial, right? And that's true, folks. That's what Augustus did.
Because the cult of Isis was very popular for the Romans, and the cult of Isis then. You find it basically everywhere in the Mediterranean. You find it in Greece, in Athens. And it's something that transforms. It's not the Egyptian Isis. It becomes a new form of Hellenistic religion. But because then you have a lot of temples to Isis, then you also have a lot of furniture or statues or objects that probably they come from Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
And so there
was the big temple of Isis and Serapis in the Campus Martius. It had probably some of the stuff that we say in the fountain of the Aqua Felice right now. There's the lions and there's the obelisk and other things.
And you have an Iseum in Beneventum that was built by Domitian, where he is represented like a pharaoh. So that's not even stealing art from Egypt; it's actually commissioning art from Egypt, because he is represented and he has this obelisk with a hieroglyphic inscription that is composed for him.
Yeah. And also, like in Egypt, no matter what pharaoh you are, you're still represented. What emperor you are, you're still represented as an Egyptian pharaoh, because Egypt does not change the art for you. You change for the art of Egypt. Like we still have Trajan represented as like, I don't know, Ptolemy. It's still the same thing. The chat is trying to help Briana find the entrance.
Yes,
I don't remember where the
please.
entrance is.
I thought it was where you were, and when you
I
killed
thought it
us
was where
back.
you were as well, right?
I thought there was a back.
Not
going
this
off.
high, not this high. No, don't go this high. Sorry, I missed it. It's where it's just 2 levels of tombs.
All right.
You need to go back where the lady was. What's her name? Tahemet.
I don't
Tahemet.
remember where she was. That's the issue.
No, where we came with the horse.
It's okay. Just follow the marker.
Yeah, she's going away from the mark.
But the marker is like inside the mountain here.
Yeah.
So this is where
Walking
the
to,
camp is, right? This is the camp that I just killed.
I think, yeah, just go there.
Yeah, there are caves in the roadside. I don't remember exactly where I think I played this DLC the last time, like years ago.
See, this is where I was, and this is...
Ouch.
The other side. Just walk along. Don't go inside here. There's nothing. You need to go around.
Should I...
Yeah. Just follow the cliff and go back to the right.
Other way.
Right, to
Other
the
way.
right.
Yep.
Okay, so not there, the other way.
Having the Nile to your left.
Perfect, fantastic, excellent.
We got it figured out now.
Yes, now we gotta after
Yeah.
how many weeks we figured it out.
Use the Nile.
Yeah, exactly. There should be an entrance around.
If there is a staircase with 2 entrances. If it's not here, it's a level above.
These bitches. Keep going. Okay. SASA GPS. Yeah, we're trying.
Recalculating.
Then it's the lower part. You need to go down.
At the next dead body, turn right.
No, down. Don't go up.
Alright, so where is it then, you guys?
You need to go down.
Okay. So stay on the level with the corpses.
And go down from that level as well. Because the marker tells you something underground, but you need to enter
Yeah,
higher, sure.
the marker is not that useful in places that are.
There are inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you go down one level?
Oh, you mean like down here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Down from the cliff, yeah, towards the Nile.
Yeah. Yeet yourself, but not too much.
There's a...
Just a little yeeting.
Yeet yourself
Little,
gently.
little moderate eating.
Where are the tombs? Where is the encampment? Where are the other things? I can't. Where are you? There should be the tents and all the entrances. Where is it?
Other direction, I think.
Maybe closed.
Well, there are holes in the mountain, so
Yeah, this is very irritating.
yeah, we just need to find the right one.
I'm irritated right now.
Rightfully, yeah, these Tomb Raiders had to work hard for their ill-gotten gains. Well, yes, right? I mean, nobody said the loot in tombs was easy. Let's see, otherwise everyone would be doing it. Or you just bribe the workers.
The horse is judging you.
So what are they setting
Are
up
there-
traps here for?
Yeah, there are no entrances back away from there into the cliff.
I mean, normally one would have an entrance here, wouldn't one?
Right. There should be an entrance
What's straight ahead of you there?
Mm-hmm.
In that
Let's
dark
see.
spot?
Now, is this the mission where you have to find the tomb? Yeah, where you find? I don't want to spoil it. Where you find
Daniele!
information about the artifact.
I'm
Daniele!
not
Yes.
sure.
Okay, so you need to go to the main camp where you met the lady, because it's in that area.
But where
And
is that?
Can you
Don't
open the?
This was like 3 weeks ago. I don't
Try
remember.
Open the map and let's see where it is.
Okay, so
Right,
I'm all
start
the
the
way
game.
over there. Alright, so it's all the way over here. Unfair trade.
You need to go Iowa, do the bend. You need to go where the markers of the treasure and the mission is.
Okay.
So just follow the knife, the whole band, and appear on the other side where the treasure marker is.
We were IGN walkthrough.
Where's my horse?
Sir?
I just
Sir.
walk.
It's stuck. I was like,
Sir? Oh, okay. Well, we had the flying fish, so now we have the stuck horse. It's okay. Oh, we got it.
Yes.
So we're going to see.
around the river bend.
There must be a joke in here. How many Egyptologists does it take to raid a tomb? Someone says in the chat. That's great.
I am a recovering Egyptologist. I'm not an Egyptologist anymore.
Historian,
trying
so
to
I'd say
forget.
Miami.
I've never been an Egyptologist, so
Map.
All right.
So
High up. Yeah, you can dismount and go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go up. This is like
Actually missed it. So go back and go up.
yep, up there.
do the quest marker, right?
The tomb.
Just a man in his bath towel running around.
Here, yes.
You know.
Ah.
We go
Uh,
inside here.
Yes. Oh yeah, look, there's a door.
There we go. Yes.
All right.
Now this
We've made it. We've
Everything.
made it.
This area is off limits.
Excellent.
Next
The
minute,
guy
dead end.
here before. Ooh, let me refill.
Yeah,
this.
big red flags. Well, listen, nobody ever accused me of being smart. You have arrived at your destination.
Cracked walls. Where? Oh, it's here.
there is a question about any thoughts on the film The Egyptian, 1950, I think 1954.
Oh, okay.
The
Well,
novel of Valtari.
I think the casting for Akhenaten was excellent. It was fantastic.
What is this?
The
what are you guys
Egyptian?
talking about?
Egyptian.
The Egyptian, the movie. What is going on the? Okay, whoa. The casting was excellent. There's a beautiful cat in the movie. That is, of course, held by the evil, sensual courtesan because cats and dangerous ladies go, hand in hand. Is the story the music? I don't particularly like the music. Too slow. The story trash. That's my that's my take on that movie.
So you like it?
I love it. The beef I have with it is that Queen T is a drunkard. She's always drunk, and she's a peasant. And she's like making nets, like she's knitting like fishing nets at some point. I'm like, no, the real T would never. Apart from that, excellent. And also, and this is a trivia, when they were making Ten Commandments, they bought many props and costumes from the Egyptian and reused it, assembled in a different way in Ten Commandments. So yeah, and they were Cecil B. DeMille was concerned that the Egyptian would be a great success and direct, opposed like enemy for the Oscar run for Ten Commandments, and then legend has it that he saw the first 5 minutes of the Egyptian and said, "Yeah, no, they can't hold a candle to us. We're winning the Oscars," and they did. And that is me reading books on ancient Hollywood, I guess. So.
Do you know what's the relationship with the book, because it's based on the book?
Well, yeah, it's based on a book. I never read the book.
I read it. There is some.
They wanted to cast Marlon Brando as Sinue, and he said no. So that would have been a very different movie.
Probably. Yeah.
But he said no, get fucked.
Oh, he's there. No.
Oh wow, we're fighting in close quarters now. Sir, please. Oh my god, he set himself on fire. Thank you. We stand. Sir, with this very Macedonian looking armor, please. Please go away.
With the eagle, no? He has an eagle on.
With the Ptolemaic
Yeah.
eagle.
Alright.
All right, let's go. Sorry, sir. But he doesn't have a shield. Consider. He's also staying.
You took
We're
a
like-
club to a bullfight.
Exactly. I mean, the best armor is no armor. The best defense is setting people on fire. We have been proving this time and time again. And we are investigating.
They interrupted my investigation. Now I don't know where I
Assholes.
am.
It's on the wall on your back.
Okay, hold on. There's a treasure to loot.
Oh yeah, it's important.
First things first.
Looting. No, it's very important. We endorse. Also, like just treasures in this beautiful.
No, we really don't.
No, we do. Well, in game, we endorse looting in game. Oh my god, guys,
Just for the sake of
context.
clarity, we also don't endorse arson.
No,
Or
or
burning children. Or poisoning civilians.
or
do
Roman
not.
imperialism.
Or Roman imperialism. That's or imperialism of any sort.
Or just imperialism. I mean,
Exactly. And now we have art historian Bayek, who doesn't understand what he's seen because it has been erased and chiseled away.
and he's not looking even at. He was looking. At
He's
the
not
floor.
even looking. He doesn't. Yeah, he's
That's his real problem.
Yeah.
Also,
He's
the
paying
towel is
attention.
covering his eyes.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you let's see.
Like, you can investigate or you can be sultry by it. You've got to choose.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a staircase down there, and there are other
Descendants that Tahemet spoke of.
things. There. Oh yeah. Look at that. The descendants. Why are they bound like captives, though? Daniele, are you seeing this?
No, sorry, I was looking for something.
If you look at the wall, they are down there and they're bound like captives.
It looks like a window of appearance, no? Or
Right. But they
like-
should not be bound if they are the descendants, right?
Yes. This is This is the typical iconography of the enemy. So you have the lotus flower, and you have the papyrus, and then you have the captives. It would be normally in a fixed number, no, nine
Because the 9 bows.
bows, and you have a variety of ethnic groups, costumes. But
With
these
the
are-
names,
these are the-
usually, but
maybe it means something. I mean, the descendants of the Ramesside have been
They look like
Dying.
lilies.
to something.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they all have the lock, no, the side lock of.
Yeah. And they all have the tummy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They all have the pot belly. Yeah.
And it's nice because it means they didn't just take any image from ancient Egypt and they use it to render the wall. They elaborated on it. No, there are details that well, for us, we are dissecting how many they are.
Oh yeah, we're like, look,
for
but that hair is not right. But we're cool with it.
average player, it's like red hair. No? It's a clue to something.
Yeah, someone in the chat said that, like that they got red hair. Yes, they do. Yes, they do for obvious reasons. Well, obvious because we've been playing.
Rameses mentioned the chat.
Rameses always enters the chat. It's like, why are things not about me? They should be about me. Only about me.
I'm
Let's
missing-
see.
Are you done? No, you need to stay in that area. I think.
Yeah, no, this is the investigation area. Unfortunately, I can't see the colors really well, so everything looks like all the triangle markers look white to me.
The yellow one.
There is a downstairs area too, with a staircase somewhere. It is a labyrinth. More. Oh, I see a yellow
Photos.
on the.
very
Yeah.
far over here. Oh, never mind.
Whoop.
Where's the
There's behind you. There's a hole in the ground.
Yeah, but I think that's where she came from. Like,
No, there's a gap in the floor, and like you need
yeah,
to
but
go
then
down there.
she
Yeah.
opened that?
Behind the table.
Oh, right. Did you open? Oh, right. We came from
Yeah, I
from
think that's
downstairs.
right.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
But
So I
maybe
think-
there's something to
maybe there's something
investigate that we
there
didn't see
because we just killed
before.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yes. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Sir. Sir. What is it? Is it like, does it give you like the investigation thing?
No.
Then you have to go. This is like a labyrinth more than a tomb.
So you see the triangles?
More dudes in here. How did
Oh,
that happen?
okay, so it's probably here then.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's probably on this side. That's good. We can kill more.
You always know you're going the right direction when there's people you haven't killed yet.
Very true. Very true.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah, he's like.
Very good. Oh yeah.
That's good. Oh yeah, here we go. It's also like this sort of is this, how bad is this tomb design?
It's dreadful.
Do you think they generally put in less attention to accuracy or historicity in the DLCs?
I mean, I think that the moment people started naming Akhenaten, I think accuracy was out of the window.
Yeah, but I mean, accuracy is like, yeah, okay, but like into the historical aspect of things.
No, that's fair. This one's like they took like some tomb design elements and then they just ran wild with it to make this sort of labyrinth stuff.
Well,
I
we
seem
in the Ptolemaic period, people kept enlarging tombs and reusing them, and nothing here is intact. No? All barriers are disturbed and reused, and see all sorts of things.
Which is fair. That
makes
works.
sense, no? It's not-
Okay. Oh, there's loot. Okay, one more marker.
But
And
where?
then this is a good question. I remember this place being enraging because it's so large and you never know where you are. And so I kept like spamming the polls to see where the thing was. Because there is yeah.
It reminds me of like the tombs in Odyssey. Yeah, I always get lost in those because they're
The
so
Mycenaean
expensive.
tombs.
Yeah, that they're the worst.
Yeah, they are bad.
They're always full of snakes. We get like
Why does it
three
why is
snake
it
bites and
always
you're
the
dead.
snakes?
Always the snakes.
Yeah, why does it have to be the snakes? Which
Is
is
it
actually a
Origins or
line.
Odyssey? Is it Origins or Odyssey where the snakes are super deadly? Is
It's
that
Odyssey.
In Odyssey, there's
Odyssey.
3 bites and you're dead, I think.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
In here, they're a little Moldemure.
yellow,
They're like... Yeah, it's down there.
How do I get there? Ooh,
There's a hole.
I think
In the
that was
floor.
the same hole that I was
Oh,
in before.
These
Someone in the chat says snakes and chickens in Odyssey are the true boss fights, and I agree.
that's very true. That's very true.
Chickens.
Project Chikaros.
chickens,
Chicaros.
Chicaros.
There's some great nods to that in Valhalla as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
People worshipping the relic. Priest of Akhenaten, but the rays are missing. Bayek dear.
The wife of the Aten.
But now look at this reconstruction of ancient art.
Did it hold any real power?
Briana.
Or was it just symbolic?
Interesting.
They bring the descendants of Ramesses forward, but the ritual, it is not to the goddess of truth, but dedicated to another god.
It's a
Twin
ritual.
blooms of Amun.
It's ritual.
The ritual
It's ritual.
restores Ma'at to everything
It's always
under
ritual.
the sky,
We all know that.
in honor
no.
of the Lord of Thebes and the god's wife at his
Look
side.
at this. Look at this.
The priests have the relic. She has been lying to me from the beginning.
What was I saying about historical accuracy before?
Ooh,
Isidora. She brought down the Pharaoh's
plot
guard,
twist.
tried to justify
Plot
it.
twist.
Isidora's argument with Dahamet. Could her own
Someone
mother be married
has
here?
been shady.
That's a constant. Assassins' protagonists are always so naive. They always do everything they tell them to do, and then they go, no,
Oh no! Yeah, they
they never question.
You can do this one too, actually. You can do this quest too. Yeah, they trust everyone. They especially trust like vaguely threatening women who feed them prophecies, and then they're like, oh, what do
I can't
you
believe
mean?
killing all those people. I can't believe killing all those people had those unintentional effects.
Right? Can't believe my actions have consequences.
No,
Assassinate
they
Isidora.
killed that one friend of mine. That's killed thousands of people, and that will make it right.
Exactly. I think we can do a motherless child because it's in the same tomb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we will stop there. So next time we start with assassinating the god's wife of a moon. But this one we can do because this one gives us a little more insight in Isidora's motivations, since she's not technically betrayed us. She has not lied. She just, not told the whole truth.
You know that I replayed this before, and at the beginning when he tells her that it's not a moon who's causing the curse, as Bayek, she says, Bayek, but what will you do to the person who holds the orb? And he doesn't reply, he just looks at her and it implies, I'm gonna snap the neck of this bitch. So it's probably, you only realize it when it's...
when this happens,
where is she in the story?
Right, I like that they use the name Nitocris for Isidora's mother. That is actually one of the names that we have recorded of God's Wives of a Moon.
One of the last also, it's not the last.
Yeah, exactly. And she was of royal family. Once again, these people would be high status. But now we get the tragic backstory.
Isidora had to bury her mother. The orb and her mother's legacy was passed to her. She vowed to revenge her, but she never
we do feel for a child, given some big shoes to fill. But then again,
Bertie came to try and make amends for what the others
maybe. Someone in the chat is asking, what did the God's Wife of a Moon do and what was her role?
Let me post some bibliography.
In this essay, I will.
Who wants to explain?
God's Wife of a Moon is a title that begins with the New Kingdom, and at the beginning she is a female member of the royal family. Usually she's a queen. I think the first one is a Hotep, but they might have given her the title a posteriori, so it's her daughter, Ahmose Nefertari, and she is the sister or half-sister of the first king of the New Kingdom, 18th dynasty. And there is a very solemn contract where she's given an endowment and she has properties and she has to serve the god. What exactly they would do? Well, it's a priestly title. So they would probably shake the sistrum in front of Amun, arouse the god, participate in the ritual, opening of the shrine, bringing on the offerings, chanting, all these things. But it's a position in the New Kingdom of great power, and it's probably the position that gave Hatshepsut the upper hand in deciding what happens after Tutmosis II dies, which is, I become the king because why not? Because I'm the daughter of a king, and she had the power. She had the economic power. She was independent because of her position as God's Wife of Amun. And then the thing after Hatshepsut, it gets really patriarchy realizes that this is not a good thing, and so the title becomes very almost disappears or becomes very of very little importance, to come back again in the third intermediate period with the first really important one we know of is Shepenupet, daughter of the last king of the 22nd dynasty in Thebes. And she was like sort of used as a link between northern Egypt and southern Egypt. But then when Egypt is successfully, even before Egypt was successfully invaded by the Kushite pharaohs, they find that a woman who's probably not married, because we don't have any knowledge of any offspring from the God's Wife of Amun. So it's like a sort of probably virgin priestess. which implies she has no offspring, so no people who would one day come and claim the throne. She could be used as a representative of the king in the Theban area, in Luxor, in Thebes. And so when the Nubians come to Egypt, they appoint one of their female princesses as a successor to the god's wife of Amun. They don't remove her. They're very respectful, obviously, of the priestess. On the contrary, the Nubians are very keen in showing themselves as pious and great lovers of the god Amun. So they just appoint her as the successor of the previous one. This is Amenhotep. And it goes on like that for a few generations. We have Shepenupet II. And then when political things change again in Egypt, and the Nubians are driven away, and the dynasty from Sais takes over and unifies Egypt with the beginning of the late period, they appoint their own princess to become the successor of Shepenupet II. And this is, in fact, Nitocris.
Whose name we get here.
Exactly.
But by this point, the office was not there anymore.
100 years before.
Right.
So it doesn't it's just a reference to something that had happened.
We've also seen
with the Persians, we have no knowledge of any. So this is not possible in the Ptolemaic period to have a god's wife of Amun.
Right. We've also seen the apple changing a guard into Isidora. So there is that. So the apple is working with the reality warping things. And now we are going into her quarters, which are clearly under the temple. There's,
A window to the right.
Yeah, there's a window up top to the right.
Up further? No. Where?
To the right, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the wall, on the same wall. Yeah. That's it.
High up.
Yeah, this is an infiltration mission.
You can't see it. It's like there's a trump.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, she's there like parkouring up and down. She would keep her secrets close. Well, yes, that's kind of her job, Bayek. It's
wife of Amun.
It is necessary. Like it's literally part of it's the job description. She's she knows the secrets.
You see how they reference a lot to Amun being the hidden one. Eventually, the name Amunet and the other DLC, the hidden ones are the sect of the assassins, no?
Yeah.
The Amuns.
Throughout the game, they very often refer to Amun as the hidden one. So they really.
They're also showing us a Book of the Dead. Like a chapter of the Book of the Dead in a giant papyrus, which would have no reason to be there. But unfortunately, they cut out the Devourer from that scene.
Do you notice what else is here that's exciting?
Come again?
Do you know what else is here that's exciting?
Restoration Stele.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about the Restoration Stele.
So this was set up in Karnak, was it not?
Yes.
It's in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo now. Well, at least I think it is. I'm not sure if it's been moved, but this is telling us how Tutankhamun restored the cult of Amun, and it was clearly reused.
After Akhenaten's reign, his son Tutankhamun restored the temples of Amun.
Well,
he gave the
that Tutankhamun restored.
Isn't right.
Well, the orb isn't on the original stela, but this is actually someone who did their homework.
But they did a really excellent job in recreating this stela. It's it's perfect. Well, I mean, it's not perfect, but clearly it's not perfect because it's got the orb. Is that meant to be the orb, or is that supposed to be is that right? I can't remember what it looks like.
Yeah, that's the orb.
The Nova is not.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was. But is it
the markers in the split? These markers are somebody tried to crack the stela open. There was this. It was very common knowledge. Well, knowledge. It's not real knowledge. this idea that gold was inside, so you had to crack it, because if you break it, you find gold.
Is this like a wafer?
Texts of
Like what the?
Ba'at by Nito
Is it a biscuit?
God's
Cut along the lines. It's
So, some people are
probably
weird.
Dora's mother.
wedges or hammering, a row of people hammering at the same time, Puck would break the block into two, and they might have reused it for something else.
Take all of her gold.
Oh yeah,
What just
she's
happened?
not gonna need it when she's dead.
What did I encounter?
Oh,
Oh, but, are you on fire? Okay.
Yeah, I think you put yourself on fire.
The problem
I
with
mean, you
towels.
know what?
She is
It
trying to
happens.
finish what her mother started.
In the
They're
towel.
so flammable.
We chose the towel because it's the most historically accurate outfit that we could think
not,
of.
not that Isu armor.
Oh, well, we have a thing with pants. We have beef with pants, and unfortunately, the Isu armor has pants. So, like in this
And powerful
family.
barbarians. It is
Right.
known.
Right. Oh,
the
you
Horus
can move that.
is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have it, Dr. Jackson? The Horus outfit with the oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
I think so. It's like it was one of those add-on things, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
but
it.
it's not so un-Egyptian.
Yes. So Isidora is writing letters and then putting them into walls because who amongst us doesn't, doesn't write notes.
She's got
Oh,
two
right,
books of the
there's-
dead here.
They have too many books of dead, but
Hanging this way is very weird.
taken this way for reasons unknown.
Never found it.
Also,
It
like this is
reminds me of,
Nevers.
It's like one of those college poster things.
Yes,
On
exactly.
the first day of college, we
Exactly.
all bought a bunch of Book of the Dead posters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
of
under
like
one.
this is I think that's the one that's the Papyrus of Ani. Let me check if I'm right.
In the hidden tomb of the long-forgotten Pharaoh.
Because I always get them mixed up between Ani and Hunefer. No, that is Ani. I was right. It's the one that's got the very nice Amit. And Ani is represented with his wife, and they're both bowing to the gods and Osiris in the Hall of Justice. But they cut like the scene short here, so there's no deceased, there's no wife of the deceased, there's no devourer. That's all of it.
Alright, where is this chick? Oh, she's in the afterlife?
Well, not yet, but while we're at it,
Visited his tomb before.
mm-hmm, yeah. Or you can go like in the neighboring
Let's travel.
tomb.
Okay.
Yeah, we have ended up actually in Tutankhamun's tomb by mistake from Nefertiti's tomb. We were like, "Ooh, whose tomb is this?"
And you guys were like, "Don't go in there!" I was like, "Oh my god!"
We're like,
there's
"Not yet,
zombies,
not yet,
what's
not
going on?
yet."
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Isn't that reference to the theory by
Reeves.
Yes, Nicholas Reeves.
I don't think that was like intentional because his theory had not come out yet. But
Are you really? When the game was out?
I don't know where the game was out in like 2016,
17.
No, 18.
17,
Ooh, what's
18 was Odyssey.
18 was obviously 17.
17.
17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2017.
October, November, something.
Yeah, so I don't know if Professor Reeves already had his
17.
things out. Bye, Six Keys. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah,
Put
thank you
his
for
thing
joining.
up.
Is it this one or is it elsewhere?
Yeah, get in. I think it's that
2000.
one.
Okay.
The first appearance of the theory of Nicholas Reeves is 2015, so it might as well be a reference to that.
Oh, see, I didn't know he had.
God knows how we have a piece of. This is interesting. The theory says that the tomb of Tutankhamun, because it's very small, and it's true, it's quite a small tomb. Usually we interpret it as, well, he died after 10 years of reign, and he was a young 19
Boy.
a young man. So they probably did not expect him to pass away so quickly. So they had to bury him in a tomb that is not the usual royal tomb, no. But Nicholas Reeve came up with this idea of, well, it's small because in fact it's only a part of a larger tomb. And if we break one of the walls, we will find a gate to the inner part of the tomb where we will find something like probably Nefertiti's burial.
Never forgotten.
The idea is also connected to. He does a very thorough commentary on the art in the walls and how they look like, and the lips and the eyes, and it's more like her than him. Okay, that's questionable because art history is always a very complicated world. But what he thinks is that because they released more or less in 2015 very, very accurate laser scans of the tomb of Tutankhamun, so you could basically zoom in and see any grain of dust on the tomb. And he actually believes to see the frame of the door that was walled up and then plastered and painted. So he believes that there are at least two hidden entrances, but they've done sonar or something like that to see whether there is anything, and they believe there's nothing.
Yeah, you can get into the tomb from the outside. It's okay.
You need to go through the furniture in the small room cramped with furniture.
Or you can go from outside, but that's okay.
Yeah, from outside there's a tiny valley you get in. I think from not this.
No, it's from that one you're thinking about is from Nefertiti's tomb, I think.
No, we are in the tomb of Nefertiti, no?
No, this is the Consecrator's camp.
Yeah, shouldn't it say Tomb of Tutankhamun at the top?
Yeah, so follow the marker. It's probably hidden.
You're in the wrong one. You're digging in the wrong place.
Yeah, we're digging in the wrong place. Just go to the marker. X marks the spot sometimes. Sometimes.
That's an Indiana Jones quote.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Everything.
Oh, there we go. There's the tomb entrance. Get down. Bonk. Bonk.
Oh, don't get me started on that staff.
What it is like to lose
The moment I realized that the staff was they say it's like 180 centimeters, and then they have to subtract 30, so it's 150. But then it ends up being larger than Indy himself. It's so stupid. It's
so Indy's 120. That's what we're getting.
He's a kid. I mean, if they follow the in-game logic, the in-movie logic.
Well, I mean, logic.
Yeah,
logic. To be fair. To be fair. Oh, that's the room we were talking about. Yeah. So yes. So we are seeing a piece of it in action here. A ritual, as you can see. How's the ancient Egyptian?
This is pretty cool, right?
You stalk me like common prey now.
She is so cool in this scene.
Bayek.
Yes, baby.
Give me the orb.
In Queen's English.
In Queen's English, of course, she has a received pronunciation. She's royalty.
To restore my act and put Amun back on his throne.
My mother.
This is why I was born.
She's really taking this thing seriously, huh?
As they slit your throat, so I would have the strength to do Amun's will.
This plays into the trope, which is not really a trope of like people who are subject to great trauma and then find religion and become absolute fanatics. I mean, she's the high priest of Amun, but the priestess of Amun. But then again, she's also like a religious fanatic. So it is an unhealthy coping mechanism plus a piece of Eden. So that won't do you any favors.
You betrayed Amun.
And
our people, your duty.
Dr. Jackson.
I will not betray
Hey,
welcome.
To wait?
I
thought we were
this
supposed to do
happened.
Oh.
Next.
Oh wow. We can run. We can run.
Difficult. It took me. I couldn't.
This one is difficult. This one is very difficult.
Kate, I thought we were supposed to do this next week.
I thought so too.
No.
Just Close it.
Just close the street. It's all right. We've ended up here by mistake. But also there's plenty of stuff to do in this afterlife, to be honest. Like this afterlife is full of stuff.
Should we do it now?
I mean,
let's see, and then if it's too hard, because I put it back to normal, So if it's too hard, then
It's too hard. Well, let's try. Let's give it a try.
If our guests have time, we can try it.
Oh yeah. He is a beast. And he's mean. Like, the whole family is mean, but he's probably the worst. If we assume that Nefertiti... Yeah.
Almost no damage.
He's chonky. He's a chonky boy.
I feel like these fights were where I really learned to use the light bow properly, actually.
The machine gun, you mean? Yes.
Yeah. I hadn't really used it in any Assassin's Creed game before.
Oh my god.
Honestly, first and then this, and yeah.
You need the special power of the regeneration of arrows.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I think we have it.
simple.
I'm not doing any damage.
He's mean. He's mean.
Now, aren't you doing next week?
That's it. Next week we're not doing shit. You can't quit this fight. So what we could do, if we want to close the stream, is die, and then next week we restart from here.
Hide behind the statue. Oh, never mind. I'm not.
Oh my god! He gave you a taste of your own medicine. Oh shit!
Oh my god! He does not respond to arrows. Apparently,
He has all the energy of 18-year-old people. You know?
You're right. Yeah.
He's a rowdy teenager.
I mean,
So much for Tutankhamun was crippled and he was a disabled person. Nope, look at him go. Look at him smash things.
This is why I like Akhenaten, because Akhenaten was just kind of like, do. Oh, there's a person. I'm gonna, just throw my axe around. Maybe it'll get you. Maybe it won't. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he was very fluid. This one is angry. He's pissed. Also, he is wearing his mask, which
of the spears is incredible.
Yeah.
You can.
He's wearing a mask that was not made for him, probably. But anyways, that one I buy. That one I buy. That one I believe. I believe the theory that like most of his stuff was not for him.
Accepted. It's quite accepted as a theory.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You really see that the name is recarved.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not his. And the face, they changed the face, which was a nice touch.
Oh,
well.
aren't you supposed to die because we are spoiling the next?
We're spoiling the next three. Well, that's
yeah.
it. You called it. That's so. I think this is a good moment to end. We unexpectedly spoiled the end game and the final boss fight.
In the hidden tomb of the long-forgotten Pharaoh.
Okay, so that's excellent. This is fantastic. We're not there yet. Nothing happened.
I didn't even take any moment to like process what happened because it was just sudden. So we'll
Exactly. We have no time to process.
Appreciate it next time.
Exactly. So good. Well, this is excellent. So next time we know that we don't do this until afters. We can do other side quests before this one that lead us into the tomb, but not straight to the boss fight. I assume. And there is also like some really cool side quests in the duat. So but we appreciate the effort. So okay, we're done almost our regular 2.5 hours. So thank you so much, chat, for being here, asking questions, lurking, doing other things. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, for being the killer that you are and that we love you for. And killing people around. Thank you to our guests who came to break havoc and seed chaos and do all the things and give us opinions on all Roman stuff, of which I knew nothing. So I'm really pleased. I learned a lot on all sorts of things. Thank you, Alex, for dealing with two Italians, the people from all over the place, and the general
What's the problem with being Italian?
There's no problem. We're just
You'll
we have
find
chaos.
that horse head in your bed if you don't do the stream.
I mean, we won't confirm nor deny. We do not endorse that. So thank you all. Next week, same time, same place. Dr. Jackson, do you want to announce who our guest is going to be?
It's going to be the man himself, Dr. Stuart Tyson Smith, an excellent Egyptologist and nubiologist. My game just crashed.
It's a sign from the gods. It's an omen.
He's angry.
And yeah, I guess it is an omen. He is very famous for his consultations on films such as Stargate and The Mummy. And so come ask him your questions about those. I'm sure he'll be very excited to talk about that. And he'll be excited to talk about Egyptology in general. And he's also a gamer himself, and he hasn't played this DLC before, so he's going to be spoiled. Oh well. So you can ask
too
him
late.
what kind of games he likes to play. You know, you just come and be yourselves and just
we have Dr. Cameron's webpage in the chat, so go follow him on all sort of things and in his endeavors. Go listen to his talks around. They're always very entertaining and educational. My English was going haywire there for a second. And we're always happy, to cross paths in the Archeo gaming community, which now exists. All right. So,
don't forget, next Tuesday we also have a bonus stream.
Yes.
Where we're playing the crossover stories Odyssey DLC, the Corfu DLC, with our special guest Liv Albert, who's the host of the Let's Talk About Miss Baby podcast. So that's gonna be amazing. So everybody join, because really looking forward to it.
There will be yelling, and Cassandra will wear, of course, the hat and the thing.
Holiday outfit.
The holiday outfit. Thank you very much. I was like, the retirement outfit. I'm like, no, that's not right. Which is also very historically accurate. So thank you all. Thank you again, Dr. Cameron, Dr. Salvoldi, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you all. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
See you.